Guys, and welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you everything I've learned with Wally so far. So I was lucky enough to get an early preview on Wally, but don't worry, I don't get to keep Wally and I don't get any extra advantage. It's just level 50 Wally with no attribute buff, as we weren't able to claim any of the milestone rewards. It was difficult to compare to my guardians that I have a much higher level, but I do think I've got a pretty good idea of how good he actually is. By the time you're watching this, I also no longer have access to this Wally. Now we've got that out of the way, let's just quickly move on to his abilities. So firstly, something very important to take note of is that Wally does not heal through normal means. More on this when I talk about his signature ability, but every time he is supposed to heal, he instead gains 5% armor. So this essentially means that you may want to consider controlling Wally at the start of the fight to build up some armor and then switching to another. Whenever any buff expires on Wally, he gains 5% armor, and he also gains a defense buff every 10 seconds. You actually start the fight with a defense buff, so every 10 seconds you are guaranteed 5% armor without doing anything, but you might have to be careful of an enemy purging this defense buff. Also, moving on to his special ability, it does not do any damage, but it does knock back all the enemies around him, which is great when you're trying to just counter a special ability. He also gains 5 defense buffs for 5 seconds that last for 5 seconds, so this is a total of 25% armor after every 5 seconds. So essentially every 9 seconds after the first special ability you are gaining 25% armor from just his special ability buffs, which is pretty great. Before we move on to his signature ability, I just want to show a quick clip of some gameplay of these abilities in action. So in this clip you can see that Jack has a special active, and as soon as I use it, Wally gains 167 armor, which is equivalent to 5%. Whereas in Belle's case, where she has ticked healing instead of a single heal, I still only get 167 armor instead of 167 armor per tick. So now we're in some 1v1 showdowns, and as you will see, Wally will have a single defense buff that will last for 10 seconds, and once this is expired, it will be replaced by another defense buff, and you'll see him gain 5% armor. And now we also will wait for his special ability. As you can see, it does no damage, but it does knock back the enemy, which is Maui in this case, and he also gains 5 defense buffs that will last for 5 seconds. It has already expired and he gains 25% armor. Now moving on to the signature ability, this is how Wally heals. Whenever Wally is the target of a heal, he gains a heal charge. Once Wally reaches 3 charges and uses his special ability, he will heal 10% HP. However, at level 100, this is 25% HP, which is a difference of 15% HP, which is pretty huge. So not only is he sig reliant, but he gains a great benefit from having a higher signature level. So he may be one of the candidates to use your universal signets if you have any. However, it is currently bugged where he gains armor and heal charges when allies are healed, rather than when he is being healed, and for that reason I won't be showing a clip just because it will be changed. But now moving on to the talents that I recommend and what each talent does. So 3 talents that I recommend are Reuse, Recycle and Junk Collector. Reuse is when an ally's buff expires or is purged. Wally grants that ally 4% armor, and this is at level 6. Recycle is when an enemy has a buff that is removed or purged. Wally has a chance of gaining a junk buff, which will eventually turn into armor. Junk Collector is when an enemy's debuff expires or is cleansed. Wally has a chance to gain a junk buff, and if the enemy has a buff that is purged, Wally grants all allies armor. Some good guardians that will fit well with Wally with his talents are Mike, Mr. Incredible, Aladdin and Jack Skellington. However, if you want a full video about team compositions, that will be my next video. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.